Welcome to Elliot's Law. It's time for another edition of When Black Men Talk. I'm just fortunate to be the host. And when I think about being fortunate, that word basically kind of resonated real strong with this episode. I want to go back to basically when most young men are little boys. And a lot of times when we were kids, we thought about either being an athlete or doing something inside of a band. Now, if you're going to be inside of a band, there's instruments that you basically wanted to play and dominate. And probably because they were just cool for anything else, probably the reason why, either the drums or the bass guitar. Those are the two right there. Now, I always wanted to play the bass guitar. We're fortunate to have a gentleman join us for this episode that's taken the bass guitar and spread joy and good music all around this world. This cat's an extraordinary bassist, songwriter, producer, longtime member of the legendary Motown family is Mr. Gary Foote. Gary, how are you?
Man, thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
Hey, man, I'm happy you're here, boss. I am happy you're here. I want to go back to, the early childhood thing because realistically, like I just said, when a lot of young males, when they were young, especially, I'm kind of dating myself, going back to the 70s and the 80s, we thought about, either, being in a band or basically playing a sport. And you found the bass to be your gift. So how did you get drew to the bass guitar, and basically how did the bass guitar fall into your hands?
Well, Mark, I had three older brothers, and uh, so there's naturally a hierarchy in the family. So
Mm-hmm.
one Christmas, Jimmy got the drums, Jerry got the guitar, Jeff got the keyboards. No, I'm sorry. Jeff got the bass, and then I got the little organ, and somehow it switched to bass for me. And so the fourth grade, I started playing, and I never looked back.
Wow, fourth grade, man. Wow, that's
Yeah,
that's that's very young, man. You think about fourth grade,
I
man.
know, right? Right.
Yeah,
I just thought
we
about it when I heard it. Yeah.
yeah, that's young. Now it's funny because a lot of times we don't really, we go to concerts, we listen to music, and we're happy to hear what we hear. But sometimes we may not understand the key components that go in behind a bass guitar. Share with us what some of the key components that goes into basically a bass guitar when we're listening to songs.
Well, you first of all, I mean, you said it earlier. The '70s and the '80s, the bass was it was so much of the music was bass driven. But for everyone, you can think about the base as the foundation. Like if you're building a house, it's the foundation of the house. If you look at music harmony, it's the bottom note of any given chord, generally speaking, and it dictates the harmony. So that bass line, and you and I grew up with some incredible bass
Oh
lines.
yes, yes. Oh my goodness, man.
Yeah,
Back then the bass lines were just like, whoa.
yeah.
I'll say this for myself. It's when I think of bass lines back then, it's hard not to think of James Brown, man.
Oh my
It's
goodness. Yeah.
it's hard. Oh, it's hard not to think of James Brown.
Yep. I mean, he really is the Godfather.
Yeah. And when you think about the bass the sounds they were putting out back then, oh my goodness, man. Now, I want to ask also, what is the relation between the bass guitar and the drums?
Well, you know what? What's funny about that question is if people knew how tight the bass player and the drummer were, is no way to talk about it without sounding a little crazy. but but it's kind of like, say you're walking down the street with somebody and you're in step. Somebody might walk a little faster, somebody might walk a little bit slower, they might walk even. So when you look at the great bands or the great musical groups in history, there's this bass and drum combination that's, for me, the top five groups in, like, say, the mid '70s were Earth, Wind and Fire, Parliament, Funkadelic, uh, Commodores, Ohio Players, and Kool and the Gang. Those were the big five with horns. Now, don't get me wrong. There's dozens of other ones, but like those five, you can spend a lifetime on those. You know.
Yeah, you dropped some good ones. You dropped some good ones. I was going to ask, were there any bass players that you revered coming up, when you were playing bass that you looked to maybe to emulate their style a little bit or just kind of pay more attention to?
Well, to be totally honest with you, uh, I looked up to several. However, Mark Adams from Slave, they had a song out called Slide,
Yes, yes.
and uh, and then Cameo with excuse me. Wow, why am I spacing on Cameo's bass player's name? But he's on all the Outcast stuff too. I just love the way he moved on stage, his energy. But those two were kind of my neighborhood vibe. My jazz vibe was always like Stanley Clark, Jaco Pastorius. We're all looking to be like a Marcus Miller type of guy. And
Wow.
uh, and
Yeah.
then those are the fundamental cats. And then of course Bootsy was just it's hard to explain the presence that Boosie had when he came out with that second album. Oh, the name is Boosie.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
that
Yeah.
just he was big
Yeah.
like Michael Jackson and Prince that year.
Absolutely, man. You took
Yeah.
me way back. My brother took I had two other brothers. My brother took myself and my other brother to go see Bootsy for that second album. And I might have been, I'm trying to think. That's just I was in my teens. I'm not going to go
Yeah.
back and try to get the exact age.
Yeah.
But I'm here to tell you, man, you're right. Bootsy, that performance alone, man, it was like,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah. He had a way he could hypnotize the audience.
Yes.
Like if you
Yes.
if you listen to What's a Telephone Bill, or if you listen to well, any song on that album, especially the slow ones on
Oh,
side
yes.
two.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. He had a gift. Everybody was in a trance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The name is Bootsy, baby. Going back to 4 years old, Gary, and you started at 4.
Well,
Now,
fourth
how did
grade. Fourth grade.
fourth grade? I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm staying corrected. Fourth grade. How did you basically go from there? Let's say from fourth grade to 16. What happened between those stages in your life?
Well, my parents, I came from a two-parent household. And my parents, they wanted to expose their kids to everything. uh like they consciously did. They said we want to show them everything we can, and music was part of it. So music was just like sports, was just like uh everything. But for me, music stuck, right? So for example, when I think about it, it's kind of interesting. So the very first bass I got, somebody had broken into our house, and so I was like, yo mom, I want another bass. And she was like, well, we got to wait for the insurance money. So 6 months later, I got another bass. And I forgot how much time went by, but somebody broke into our house again and took
Wow.
and stole the second bass for real, Mark.
Man.
And then the same thing. I was like, yo, mom, I want another bass. But looking back at this age, that means I was serious.
Yes. Dedication. Yes.
Yeah. So at an early age, so then I started taking lessons. And then the neighborhood cats were all playing. My god brother played bass, and we talk all the time. He sounded like Stanley Clark when he was 11 years old,
Wow.
and I was taking lessons, so I learned how to read in the ninth grade, and that, you know, at this age, I can look back and see what happened, but learning how to read in that ninth grade, that was rough.
Yeah. It's hard to not listen to people speak. And when they speak of certain things that happen in their life, and
Hmm.
you see God just moves in.
Oh my God.
He moves in. So when I'm saying that, I'm saying basically, here you are, a young child, a base that you love gets taken away from you. You
Yeah.
waited 6 months to get
Yeah.
another one.
Yeah.
Now, 6 months to a child's an eternity. It's an eternity.
I
That's a
know,
long
right?
that's a long time. It's not like
Right?
it's a day or two. That's a long time. But your dedication was there. and another guitar comes, and someone takes that, and he carries you to the second one, and look how basically, I mean, we're gonna go into parts of your life, but from what I can see, man, look how that transforming your life, bro. That's God right there, man. That's God right there, boss.
Man, I mean, I can't say more than that.
Yes,
I
I mean,
can't say
really,
more than
man.
that, bro. I
And
mean,
when it's obvious, I just bring it to it, man. And that's when you were speaking, it was just jumping out at me. Now, you went on to basically earn a full scholarship at Florida
yeah.
State, yeah, Florida State University. And basically, I want to go back there when you basically walked on the campus of FSU. How did that feel?
Okay, so check this out. I graduated a year early, right?
Nice.
Cause well, like I said, I had three older brothers, so I was kind of mature when I was little. I don't know what happened after that, but when I was young, I was mature. I was so I was in this band called Mage Wind, and it was a jazz fusion band, and it was with some of the guys from the conservatory of music, some of the teachers. So I was a teenager, but the leader was like 32, and like I said, I was reading music, and but I still had the street edge, like that slave, that cameo, and that raw gutter funk. But I also was playing jazz. So the group I was in broke up. I was about 17, and this guy came in a club. I was playing with a jazz big band. This guy came in the club and he said, "Yo, man, I can get you a scholarship to Florida State." I was playing
Hmm.
upright, and I was like, "Word." And so I talked
Wow.
to my boy Irv. Irv was a trumpet player. Irv was super cool. I was like, "Irv, yo, a dude over there said he could give me a scholarship to Florida State." And Irv was like, "Yo, man, go talk to him." I said, "But look at him. He look crazy, right?"
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
his name was Bill Kennedy from Detroit. Man, check this out. Long story short, don't you know, I got on a bus with mom's blessings. We didn't tell nobody. I got on a bus a week later. It was like during Christmas break. A week later, don't you know, I took the bus from Wisconsin to Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I got off. It was like 0 degrees or something in Wisconsin. It was 76 degrees in Tallahassee, Florida. And I'll never forget it. So I'm walking this, it just smelled different. I can remember the smell of Tallahassee, Florida. You know, those cypress trees or whatever they're called. And so we're walking the campus, and he said, "Look, I got this piano player down here. He's one of the best young piano players in the world, right?" So I was like, "Well, whatever," because my piano player was amazing. He this dude, and he had perfect pitch and total recall where I was coming from. He had a brother and a sister who both graduated valedictorian from Marquette University. So he was telling me about Marcus Roberts, right? Now, so I get to Florida, and he wanted to give me the scholarship so so Marcus could have a bass player. So now Marcus was tight with the Marcellus family. Well, at that time, this is right before Wynton won the Grammy in classical and jazz. So um actually he Marcus was just forming that relationship. And long story short, when Sting took Wynton's band after he left quit the Police, Marcus joined Wynton's band.
Okay.
So I used to roll with them a lot and learn. And so yeah, man, Florida was amazing.
Let's stop there for a second, man, because at 17, you're exposed to some heavyweights, it sounds like, man. Some heavyweights. You dropped some names a little while ago. The cat that came from Police. And some people may not even remember Police. They remember Sting more so than Police.
Right,
But
right.
back then, Police was huge.
Huge,
Man, they was huge, man. And
huge.
to think at 17, coming from Wisconsin, and you're in a circle with folks that's doing, man, come on, man.
Well,
Come
you know what?
on.
You know what? The name of your show is When Black Men Talk, right?
Yes, sir.
So check this out. So, okay, Wynton Marsalis, his father was Ellis Marsalis out of New Orleans. Now, I always say Ellis Marsalis raised at least five millionaires that I know in music. He raised
Hmm.
Wynton Marsalis. He raised Branford Marsalis, who became the musical band leader for The Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
Remember, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He
Hmm.
raised musically Harry Connick. You know, Harry Connick, the
Remember him as well? Yeah.
Yep, yep. He was
Hmm.
one of his students. Terrence Blanchard, who scores all of Spike Lee's movies,
Yes, sir.
he was associated with the family. And several, just countless other musicians around, just guys who just play instruments and who are out here working, and especially in your and ours lifetime. So,
Yeah.
so I was at the jazz convention. I was a teenager in Chicago, and young black dude. And when black men talk, so this man comes over to me. It happened to be Ellis Marsalis.
Nice.
He didn't know me from Adam. Don't you know, Mark? He talked to me for 45 minutes.
Wow.
17-year-old black boy at the time, or teenager, which was me. He talked to me for 45 minutes, told me everything I needed to do, what I needed to study, who I needed to listen to. So when I got to Florida State, guess who gave a week's residency? Like a year or two later, he said I was doing everything he told me to do. He came down there, he said, I know you.
Look out. Look
He
out.
told me,
Look out.
I know you. I said, yeah. So it was a big deal. And because Wynton had just gotten signed, his son got signed by CBS Records, and they were blowing him up to be the next jazz great,
Hmm.
and rightly so. So yeah, man, I just thought I'd throw that out there
No,
because a
I'm
lot
glad
of
you did,
times,
man.
as
Yeah.
black men, we can share, and we don't know how we're impacting somebody's life. But
Absolutely.
this man talked to me, and he cared, and you see why he had sons winning Grammys.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's needed, man. We needed basically you need the elders to basically come back and basically tap into the youth. I love the fact, too, man. I'm listening and I hear diversity, which you're playing. When you said
Yeah,
big band, man, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
think about that. How many teenagers realistically, even today, or would think about big band, classical music, jazz music? And
yeah.
here as a teenager, man, you're getting exposed to all of it.
That is so true, man. It's so true, Mark. And like I said, at this age I'm at now, I can look back and I see it with different eyes. But so when I was 14, uh, there was this other brother named Mark Cleckley, and God rest his soul. But for some reason, I'm this 14-year-old kid. Now I couldn't read music, and the big band charts. Big band music is just they got all charts. It's all written out. Like Duke Ellington, Count
Mm-hmm.
Basie, that's where Ella Fitzgerald came from, just all the classics. So, but I tell you what, man, I had this energy on the instrument, and if I saw like a C or something,
Look
I
out.
could
Look out.
always I had this energy. So Mark, I don't know, he just took to me. And sometimes, you need other people to believe in you before you believe in yourself.
Yes.
And so we rehearsed every Sunday, and I had the charts in front of me, and so they were working, man. And don't even ask me. I don't even know how I got through those charts, to be honest. 'Cause
Yeah, you did. You did, man. That's all that matters. You did. Yes.
yeah, yeah, man.
Now, there was a time in your life you decided to move. I don't know if you decided to, but you moved to the city that never sleeps.
Oh my
Now,
God, yeah.
I'm gonna do the chart for us a little bit. Wisconsin, Florida, New York. Yeah, that's a little different. A little different.
So what happened was, I kind of always had New York in mind. I did have a brother at Hofstra out on Long Island, and he was going to college there. But EJ Allen, who was a trumpet player in a big band, and his brother Carl. Now check this out. Carl had gotten a gig with uh, Freddie Hubbard when he
Okay.
was 18.
Wow.
So I kind
Man.
of had always wanted to kind of follow in their footsteps a little bit, you know. And so I,
Gary, I'm happy here telling these stories, man, because a lot of times, as you said earlier, when black men talk, and we have the impression that we don't help each other out like we should. That's
right,
kind of like the norm. And there might be a lot of truth to it, and there may not be. But hearing that Freddie Hubbard, hearing that Ellis was basically, they were
yeah,
coming back,
yeah.
man, what? Come on now. Come
It's
on.
it's facts. That's why I want to do your show because black men we need to talk because we're all we have. Uh,
Absolutely.
uh. So I'm in Florida now. Marcus is blowing up, right? Marcus is this amazing piano player. He's blind. He was blind.
Wow.
So he's playing with Winton. But I was in Tallahassee, Florida, right? So
Mm-hmm.
my strategy was like, I said, okay, I don't want to get to New York too late, where I'll be sleeping on people's couches, because you know, I, I'm, I'm not that good at sleeping on people's couches, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I said, so I left my scholarship, and mom's then was like, "Yo, man, you leaving the scholarship?" I was like, "Yeah, I got to get to New York before you know, I just got to get there as soon as possible." So I moved there. Man, it's crazy to think about all the stuff I took there. I had $40, man,
Wow.
and but my boy had said, he said, "Gary, you can stay at my place, with my family. My father has a this Jewish brother." He said my father had he had an old silk factory in Hoboken, and so I stayed there for about 6 weeks, and then I started working and just started hustling, 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 and then I went to school though. I transferred to William Patterson College because I figured like my strategy was to meet people in the country my age who do what I do. So I started meeting young musicians from around the United States, and it started forming a network because it's a people business, Mark.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Now, I spoke earlier about, you're going around the country, and somewhere along the line around that time, if I'm correct, your talents and skill brought you to Japan.
Oh my God, yeah.
Okay.
Yo, so a few things happened before that, but if you remember in the '80s, the Japanese economy was booming, man.
Mm-hmm.
uh I think after World War II, which ended in 1945, right? The country was devastated, but the country rebuilt, and they had a kind of a model because I worked for a Japanese company a little bit. We started doing the karaoke stuff, so I got to see how they think, and their mantra was kind of first we copy, then we make better.
Hmm.
So, for example, if you look at karaoke music, we would take uh, hit records and we'd have to reproduce them. So that was in the '80s. I started meeting all the cats in New York who do the records, like Jimmy Douglas. He went on to do all the engineering for Missy Timberlake, Justin Timberlake, I should say, Missy and Timberland. Sorry, and everything. Prince Charles, he did all the stuff for Bad Boy, engineering that. He taught me how to make records. Uh, oh man, just every engineer in New York came through that karaoke place. Like
Wow.
everybody. I'm talking about like everybody. So guys who worked at NBC television, uh, guys who did the rock music. So that's when. But I acted as a producer. They called it coordinator. So I would bring in the musicians to play certain parts, and organize it. So I started producing that. But I met them prior to that. I started playing when I got to New York, Mark. Uh, Everybody else was studying, but I had to get some work, because
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't 18 anymore. I wasn't 19. I had to hustle. So um, I think I got a reputation because I was super funky and I could read, and that's a combination that is not always common, you know. Uh, so that put me in certain situations, and so I started playing with Billy Cobham, and we moved to Europe because he was based in Switzerland. And when I got back, that's when I started working with the Japanese company.
Wow, man.
And yeah, Japan was pretty amazing then.
Yeah. We're very fortunate to be speaking with the extraordinary bassist Gary Foote on When Black Men Talk. I'm happy to have him here. Listen to the information that he's sharing. Listen to some of the names that he's dropping. And realistically, this is all at a young age. We haven't moved past the young age part yet. We haven't really kind of went past there. And to me, man, some of the experience you had back then, that's a lifetime of experience, Ross. That's a lifetime of experience that you captured at a young age.
I know, right? I think
Yes.
that you know, again, at this age, I'm able to kind of look back with different eyes. You know what I mean? And uh, my father, like they knew him in the city, Mr. Foote, right? Everybody knew Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Foote, and because he was a counselor, and but they gave me my love of travel, right? So I could
Mm-hmm.
always, and I was the youngest, so I always had to go. So I always knew how to travel. I always traveled well, So that helped me work too, So yeah, man.
You know something I'm not hearing, and I'm glad I didn't hear it. It seemed like a lot of your movements back then, fear didn't exist. You weren't afraid. You was just moving along, man, not fearing. That's what I'm picking up on.
So my boy, who I grew up with, one of the guys I grew up with, Daryl Eastern, he said, man, he said, yo, I'm proud of you. And I was like, what? Why? What? He said most cats would have came back home.
Yeah,
And I was just thinking like, I never thought of that way, but I kind of came from a very supportive family. So I don't know. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, that support paid off, man. That support paid off because your mom and dad basically instilled a lot in you to where you could stand tall and 2 feet stand tall, man, and get all that done. I want to go to something that I read about you, man. And to me, I said, this is a contrast. I know you basically toured somewhere around that time. You toured with the songstress Regina Bell, and
Yeah.
then you were playing with Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Now, that's some deep versatility right there.
Man,
Come,
yeah.
come, come on, man. That's. So I'd have to think that contrast alone brought some benefits to you.
Yeah, man. I think the way we were all brought up back then musically was you had to play jazz, you had to play Latin, you had to play rock, you had to play funk. Uh, and being in the Midwest, it was it was different. It was different. I mean, there still was segregation, but uh, the way I was brought up. Well, let me put it this way. So when I get to New York, brothers wasn't wearing their hair like I was wearing my hair, right? On the East Coast. So brothers from DC, brothers from Boston, in New York, they were clean cut. That haircut was sharp, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
brothers in Detroit and Cleveland and Milwaukee and Chicago and Minneapolis, Man, Mark, we was wearing perms,
Look out.
right? So
Whoa.
so man, so when I got to New York, people's like, what is up with this brother with the hair? You know, it was hilarious, man. Especially the jazz cast. It was like, yo, what's up with the hair? What's up with the curls? And so then there was a movie that came out in the 80s called Purple Rain, starring Prince. And
Hmm.
when this movie came out, it started showing all the Midwestern brothers with their hair done. And the movie was a hit. So everybody was like, oh, you come from out there. It was funny, bro. It was funny, Mark. But
Wow. You know, it's funny when I think about that. I would have thought the roles would have been reversed. I would have thought New York would have the perms and the slick hair, and Wisconsin would have been more clean, more straight cut. Man, that's interesting.
yeah, no, man. I mean, maybe the brothers in Queens had their hair done. I'm really not sure about that, but
Hmm.
but definitely not in Brooklyn and Harlem and Manhattan and DC and up in Massachusetts. No, they weren't trying to have any.
Okay. All right. Well, it wasn't long, man, before you caught the eyes of one Mr. Barry Gordy, the owner of Motown Records, and
Yeah.
Smokey Robinson, and they brought you into the family. Now, these are legendary individuals. And if you don't mind, share the age you were when they basically opened their arms and brought you inside.
Well, I let me put it this way. Okay, I was like 28 when I started with Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Now, Blood, Sweat, and Tears was, let me back up just a little bit. They were probably they sold 10 million records one year in the 70s, and they were kind of
Wow.
regarded as the kind of the first jazz rock group, right? So they played, like back then they'd be on a show with Miles. They would mix it up. And so uh we were touring in Israel of all places. And our sax player at the time, Kenny Joffrey, he's with Nile Rodgers and Chic right now, if you see the sax player. So his wife was on that trip, and she said, Gary, I think Smokey, their bass player Larry Ball, he might be taking a break, right? And she said, Gary, I think you would fit in really good. So she told them about me, and they called me to come and sub one day. And Mark, it's interesting. I kind of like, when it comes to music, I don't talk too much about reading music and stuff because sometimes I don't like to make it seem too hard. I like to encourage people, like, because you don't have to be able to read to play, right?
Mm-hmm.
But man, I'll have to be honest, right? Let's just be honest. This black man talking. I think because I could read, that got me every gig I got. Really,
Yeah.
I'm
And
just,
yeah,
it did.
I can understand that, man. No, I really can. I mean, it's and I understand why you kind of approach that a little delicately too.
I
But
do. I do.
yeah,
Yeah.
because there was a cat here. I'm in Connecticut, and you might be familiar with him. He was a guitarist. He passed a year or two during the pandemic. Ron Lawrence, and
Oh man, he's a legend, yo. Let me tell you. Yeah,
yes,
he's a legend. Ron Lawrence is a
yes,
legend. Yes,
oh
yes,
man,
yes, yes,
Ron
yes.
can play anything, bring it to life, in my opinion, make it his own. But if I understood correctly, Ron didn't read music. And when I first heard that, I was like, how is that possible? I mean, I've listened to him numerous times, and anything you tell Ron to play Beethoven, he can play it. it
Exactly. And let me just interject real quick. So look, Stevie Wonder doesn't read.
Absolutely. There
Prince
you go.
Prince didn't read. So the baddest cats don't read. George Benson doesn't really read. So we talking about the baddest cats. You don't have to be able to read, but I have to tell what happened, at the same time too.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm just telling what happened because I could go in there and read. It saves so much time. And
Wow.
you
Yeah.
know, but you're right. Ron Lawrence was amazing musician, God rest his soul. And you know, and like this music is humbling, man. It's humbling, man.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
no, I here again, I understand why you would basically, feel that way, man. But I could only imagine when you sat down with Mr. Gordy and Mr. Robinson, and they're looking at this young cat that can read, that's polished, that is experienced. I mean, I'm sure they don't want to let you out the building.
well, you know what? Smokey said that to me. He said, and you know what? I didn't even really hear him when he said it. Like it just I didn't think of it that way. Like I don't, you know, like Smokey said, "Yo, man, it ain't. It's great. You could come in here and just read this music down." He said, "You know, a lot of our young people, a lot of young musicians, they can't do that." And I'm thinking in my mind, yeah, he's just saying that, because he's
Hmm.
nice and stuff and whatever. But uh, my boy, I was talking to my boy Reggie. He came up with Marcus Miller, and he was telling me he's more in contact with musicians coming up, and he said, "Man, a lot of cats they're not reading at all." And he told me this last month, so I you know. All I know is it helped me. That's how I got the Regina Bell gig. That's how I got the Blood, Sweat, and Tears gig. That's how I got the Billy Cobham gig. That's how I got the Smokey gig. Maxwell, we were kind of like a neighborhood thing, so we wasn't trying to read. But I also came from the neighborhood funk bands too, so I can play by ear, So I kind of had both, you know.
Now you threw the word funk out, man, and I know for a fact you played with George Clinton. Now, here's the question I have about that. I mean, that experience, just to do that you played with, it blows me away. But
Me
were
too.
there? Oh my goodness, man!
I
When
know,
you
man.
were
Oof.
there? Were there a time when you were on the stage with George Clinton and you look over and you looked at him and you said to yourself, "I'm doing this."
Heck yeah, man. So check this out. First of all, I only played with George Clinton 3 times, and it's because of Ray Chew. Ray Chew and the crew
Mm-hmm.
from Apollo. Now Ray called me, so I got to play with George 3 times. So man, bruh, oh man, where do I start? Well, first I'll tell you where I started. Mark, let me tell you, I got
Please
all my
do.
I had my pedal. We talked about Boosie earlier. I had my
Mm-hmm.
pedal game together. I got my Mutrons, man. I had, you know how we playing Mothership Connection and all that. So I'm going
Yes.
like, bum, 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 bum,
Mm-mm.
bum,
Oh my
bum, bum.
goodness.
I'm doing all that
Yes.
underwater stuff, man. Man, George is sitting next to me at rehearsal, man. But here's what's funny too. Jumping way ahead, uh, jumping way ahead. George, first of all, he's like a little kid, right?
Oh
He
yeah, we can see
80.
that. Yes.
Man, his enthusiasm is crazy, crazy. So oh man, okay. Let me tell one story at a time. Okay,
Take your
let
time,
me
boss. We
slow
got
down.
plenty of time. Take your time, man. Please. I'm loving it.
Let me tell you. So okay, Smokey Robinson, right? Let me back up. All right. So check this out. Let me back up. Put this in perspective. Smokey Robinson is a 19-year-old kid from Detroit, right? 19, right? Kid from Detroit. He lost his mother when he was like 11 or 12. His sister, he moved in with his sister, all these her kids, and they all older than him. And, so he's kind of on his own in a way at 12, 13, 14. So he's working paper routes. Smokey was like a hard worker and focused kid, you know? So check this out. He's 19 years old and he got the number one record in the country. Pop
Wow.
chart, not R&B.
Yeah.
Pop, pop for like 8 weeks. So think about this. So Smokey's 19. So if you're 16, if you're 15, if you're 14, Smokey's your hero. So Smokey was born in 1940. John Lennon and Paul McCartney from the Beatles were born in like 43, 42, and 43, right? George
Hmm.
Clinton was born, I want to say 44. I want to say that. But all that to say, Smokey is all their hero, man.
Wow.
So they was all trying. George, man, George came to the show a few weeks ago. He, Mark, I got some of it on tape, man. He sang every word. He loves Smokey.
Wow.
He loves Smokey. When we go to Europe, Elton John invited us over his castle. He bought
Good
William the
move there.
Conqueror's castle, man.
Wow.
He and he decked it out all for Motown. And Smokey is their hero, man.
And
It,
you're playing for him, boss. You're
well,
playing for him.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I know you want to be a little modest, man, but I'm going to say that again. You're playing for him, boss. You're playing for him.
yeah,
I'm gonna speak on Spunky a little bit because I had an opportunity to see him a few months ago. And I'm going to tell you something, man. You know, one of the best shows I ever witnessed, top to bottom. And when you think about Smokey, the age that he's at currently, you don't expect that. You get your tickets and you get in your seat and you're thinking, okay, he's going to give you, what he can give you, and he's of age, and but forget about all that. When the music starts, Smokey, and like you said, you could see all go back to his childhood. Such a performer. I mean, he has all together. He gives you so much in his performance, and you forget he's in his 80s. You're looking at him going, ain't no way in the world this cat could be 80. You listen to his voice, his movement, the way he's connecting with the audience, the way he's connecting with the band, unbelievable. So I'm saying to anyone, man, that if you have not witnessed Smokey Robinson, if they come near your town, close to your town, you got to get some tickets to go see it.
you really do.
Because yeah, he's a treasure. He's a treasure that basically our people, black people, should be knocking down the doors to see.
Oh my
Forget all
God.
this forget all this rap stuff and all the other stuff out there. I'm serious. I don't care what your age is. Smokey at some point was music long before this other stuff is out here. So for that reason alone, we should be going to see this man. But I'm telling you, will not be disappointed because Smokey is, when you have a chance to witness him and experience him, you get all of that. You get all what he's been through, how he's basically grown through the business, and you walk away feeling like, wow, I didn't pay enough to witness this. I didn't pay enough.
Man, those are facts, Mark. So the name of your show is When Black Men Talk, right?
Absolutely.
So permission to speak freely, right?
Oh, come on, man. That's what we do here. We
Yeah,
bold. We bold. Say what you want.
yeah,
Come on now.
yeah, man. So okay, Smokey's 85. Now, he's in, like you just said, he's in better shape than everybody, right? And
Wow.
I didn't really kind of figure out what he does, because we in black men in the United States, we're dealing with prostate issues, we're dealing with diabetes, we're dealing with
Yes.
heart, congestive hearts, we're dealing with a lot of stuff. So uh, when it comes to health, man, those cats. See, let me tell you something funny real quick. Barry Gordy is 11 years older than Smokey.
Hmm.
This dude is just now starting to slow down. He's playing tennis, but two, three times a week. But so Smokey is a yoga expert. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
He takes care of his health. And and then I look at it now at 85. So he had some allegations of sexual misconduct come out where, because he's such a nice dude. So situation arose where they kind of said he did this and that. But I think that he has seen so much, so many people have come for him in 85 years that, uh, I mean, he's just seen it all, you know and
Wow.
and but you're absolutely right. You don't He's still selling out. He's still selling out.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, we sometimes we might forget too, his catalog is huge. You know, sometimes when people think of Smokey, they think of the Miracles. Man, forget, I mean, I'm not saying forget about the Miracles, but there's so much between the Smokey Robinson and Miracles to current day. I came across one of his songs, man. What was the name of the song? Daylight and Darkness. At the same time,
Oh my God,
go, Gary, Gary, come on, man. You can't write a better cut than that. You can't
man,
write, man. You can't write a better cut than that. I mean, how can you when you listen to that song from beginning to end? You're like, where? And we forget sometimes the song "Quiet Storm" what it did for Black radio.
man!
We
It's the 50th
forget.
anniversary of it. Yep,
Yes, we forget. We listen
yep.
to slow music all around the country. I did radio for a period of time, and I did, that format. And we forget it wouldn't have been a Quiet Storm if it wasn't for Smokey Robinson.
You're right, Mark. You're right.
Yes, man. Hey, man, we drop it here, boss. We drop it. Now, as playing the guitar, I've noticed too, you got that entrepreneur spirit going on too as well. Over the years, you kind of done a few things. One thing I'm speaking of in general is the Sound Guild Company, your partner of that particular company. And with everything that's going on, how did you get a chance to manifest and get that off the ground?
Well, again, I keep saying the same thing, but I am a team player. Like I'm a little older, so I can look back, right? Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I'm like, I've always been a team player, and when we were coming up, like, okay, we named the Super Five groups, the super bands with I call them the super band. They had the horns and everything. Commodores, Earth, Wind and Fire, Parliament, Ohio Players, Kool and the Gang, right? Of course, there were several others, but those five. So I, we were raised to be writers, producers, play live, and play in the studio. So that was our mentality. So I'm a writer, I'm a player, I'm a producer, and so on. And so I hooked up with my boy Brian Delaney, Marco Vitali, and my guy Regan, and we formed a production company, Sound Guild, and then Nile Rodgers from Chic. He started. He signed us, and Nile is very. He's just super brilliant. I mean, high IQ, and he connected us with Wu Tang. He connected us with Organized Noise. When they did "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls," and that's
Hmm.
how come I'm on some of those records like Wu Tang and in a real roundabout way. Uh,
It's interesting when you say Nile Rodgers because, of course, that goes way back to Chic. But I'm happy to hear that name brought up and he's still doing things because we don't really get a chance to see him that often. But I'm getting the impression he's been doing a lot of things behind the scenes, a lot of things behind the scenes.
Man, Mark, I don't think during that time that there was a major motion picture that was put out that he didn't know about.
Hmm.
Uh, Commercials, video games. Shoot, man, I'm still getting royalties from the work in that period. Like
Nice.
like when you watch and this is going back a little bit because I used to have TV Land, Nick at Night, all the Viacom companies before
Yes.
2008, and we used to do a lot of the music for them. They had this song called MTV Cribs, this show called MTV Cribs,
Oh, yeah.
and whenever they couldn't do the licensing for certain groups, we would do that for them, and we'd have to write like, TV teaches you how to write music fast and not be so emotionally attached to it. Because if you're writing songs, if you talk to most artists, they're like, "Oh, that's my song. It came from my heart."
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-mm-mm.
but yo, man, it's like my teacher used to say, you got to be able to write from perspiration and inspiration. So
Wow.
so if somebody say, "I need this by 5 o'clock," you got to be able to come up with something, and that's where the theory and knowledge of music can come in.
Wow. Okay. I like that perspiration, man. Inspiration. That's a combination right there, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Wow. Gary,
yeah.
man, you were around a lot of good people, man. You were blessed to be around a lot of good souls, man, that poured into you. Really did. I want to hear more about another business aspiration of yours. You're the CEO of Gary Foote Music.
Yeah, so Mark, I am, and I'm gonna keep you posted on this, but very soon, I'm gonna launch. I figured out a way because I noticed we're gonna launch a book that's gonna. I come up with a very simple way to explain music theory, and if you can count to seven, you can understand how music works theoretically. Uh, if you say do re mi fa sol la ti, you're back to do, and that's so it's seven. That's seven notes, and then you understand that the one, the four, and the five are major chords, and the two, the three, and the six are minor chords. But I got a way of explaining that, and that way, if you go to Nashville, you go to L.A., you're working with cats, and they say, "Give me a 1 4 5 and B flat." You know, it's B flat, E flat, and F. But it's gonna be, uh, I'm saying it all in 30 seconds now, but I've come up with a quick way so anybody can understand it, and we'll be launching the books in book very soon.
Sounds good. Sounds
Yeah, it's
very
going to
good,
be a
man. Definitely.
course.
Oh, please keep me posted, man. Please do. I'm gonna say this to you, man. You played in over 75 countries in 50 states. A lot of various artists, man. You've been dropping names. One name that you didn't drop, I'm gonna drop because I believe you played with Quincy Jones, who's no longer here. But did you play with Quincy Jones by any time, by any chance?
Okay, this is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened. We were working with Nile Rodgers and Quincy. There's this company out of England that Nile got a deal with, right? So we're working with Quincy. Quincy put his name on it. It's called Quincy Jones Funk,
Hmm.
right? So, but it's really me and my company who did all the music. So, uh, but it's got Quincy's name on it. So, for example, if you're a director or a producer and you're producing like something for HGTV or some cable show, you have access to this music and you plug it in. If you're a director and you want something funky and it says Quincy Jones Funky Funk, you're gonna put it on. But that's really us. So uh
Okay.
when I
Okay, I'm
met
having you repeat that. If you don't mind, I'm having you repeat that because you
oh,
broke
I'm
up
sorry.
just a little bit. And I don't want people to miss.
Oh,
So you're saying your name is on it. It's your stuff, but Quincy Jones is on it. Go back to that point and give us that again if you don't mind, because you broke up just a little bit. And that's some good stuff, man. We want to definitely make sure that's heard
yeah.
correctly.
Okay, so real talk. When you write a song, there's publishing and there's writing. So think about it. If you're a businessman and you want some music and you see a product that says Quincy Jones Funk, the name means something, right? You're gonna pick that
Yes,
up.
yes.
So Nile made the connection and Quincy put his name on it, but it's really us. But
Okay.
because Quincy's name is on it, it's we got exposure like all over the world.
Beautiful.
So uh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So I met Quincy after that. Like and I met Quincy a whole nother way, like through Smokey. He was at this event and I was like, I said, yo, Quincy, my name is Gary Foote and my company, I said, we did the music for the Quincy Jones Funk project. And so at the time, Quincy was about, he was in his 80s, Mark. But again, he blew me away with his, we started talking, he started telling me stuff, and I saw his passion and his competitiveness. And I mean, you hear about like Michael Jordan being competitive or Magic Johnson being competitive, and
Okay. Okay.
man, these cats, bruh. I said, oh, this is why they are who they are. Like, he's hungry. He was in his
Yeah.
80s and just hungry, man. Like,
Wow.
so it was beautiful meeting him, and I thought he was just gonna say hi and bye, but he started telling me all about this company and that company and this, and so it was. He's incredible. He's incredible,
Yes, to say the least, man. And
right?
so are you, boss, man. I want to kind of basically ask. This is a question that just basically, as I learn more about you, that came to me. I want to kind of give it to you, man, because I wonder sometimes you're walking through your home or you're somewhere and you look at your guitar and you just you for a moment you freeze and your mind just starts to travel. What are those thoughts, man? When you look at that guitar, you're not playing it, you're not scheduled to play it, but you walk by it and you take a glance, and for a period of time you start to reminisce, you start to think. What are those thoughts, Mr. Gary Foote?
What are those thoughts?
Yes.
Okay, well, look, I'm gonna give you the real answer. I'm gonna
Yes,
give you the
yes.
real answer, man. The real answer is I'm always trying to get better. That's the real answer. Like, I'm always trying to get better, man. Cause think about it this way, like, if you're, and excuse the sports reference, but let's just say that you're in the NBA, and let's say you're, let's just pick somebody like uh, Ant Edwards, right? Let's
Mm-hmm.
just say it. Now, Ant can ball. He's bad dude. He can play, but he knows that LeBron has lived. He knows Steph Curry has lived. He knows Kevin Durant has lived. He knows Kobe Bryant has lived. You know what I mean? So he's
Mm-hmm.
not satisfied. He's trying to get better.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so I mean, I wish I could give you another answer, but
No, man.
but
No, that's good.
I'm just trying to get better, man. Like, every day, I'm still hungry, man.
Yeah, man. That feed that hunger, boss. I know you will. It's just I go back mentally from the fourth grade to now, man. From the fourth grade to now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Come on, Gary. An
Well,
instrument, man.
okay, when real men talk, okay, having God in your life, bro. All right,
Mm-hmm.
like for
Yeah.
real, for real, for real. Like, how they say, seek ye first the kingdom of God and
Yes.
His righteousness, and all these things will be given unto you. So, spending time in the Word, uh, because if look, if you live in the United States, we're naturally going to be a little crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
We may not know we crazy until we get out, and then we see, because it's you watch the news, read the paper. We're being conditioned to think, act, and feel a certain way, but the word is standing the test of time. So we need to listen to God's word. Well, this is just me talking. I'm not telling anybody what they need to do, but if you listen to God's word before man's word, I think I have a better chance. So that's how I'm trying to live. I'm trying
Yes,
to live
sir.
that way.
Hey, man. That's a great way to basically bring this, to a close, man. It couldn't be said any better, boss. It couldn't be said any better. Not only that you said it and you spoke it, you know, I see how he's basically carried and brought you, man. And as I said earlier, I'm speaking about your guitars getting taken. He was there all the time, man. Still there in all of our lives, not only yours. And basically, we just have to tap in and understand it. Hey, man, I can't thank you enough for stopping by and sharing, man. Open up and sharing, and basically, come on, man. You kept a smile on my face, and it's you dropped some names that I may have forgotten about, that I know a lot about, but when you're saying these different names, man, I was like, man, your mind starts to tie back to it. It's good to see that our people, man, basically we may not get a chance to visually see it, but you guys are really connected, man. You guys like a big family where you're connected and help each other out. That's beautiful.
Yeah, man. Well, look, thanks for having me. When black men talk, you know, I'm trying to share my story with other black men because I like what you're doing, Mark. I just like what you're doing. So,
I appreciate it.
uh, you know,
All right. Hang tight for a second, man. Let me close the door to the loft. You know, I'm going to talk about a minute or two once we close the door. I want to thank Mr. Gary Foote for coming by. I'm telling you, man, I think I'm going to play this one several times, man. Just in case I missed something, I'll go back and hear it again. But, God loves you. We love you too. We get together real soon. Take care of yourself.